What's up, guys? Ben with the Hookup Tackle here with Geoff. We are here at the 2021 ICAST show. Now, ICAST is one of those shows that's kind of a love-hate thing for me. Now, Geoff, this is your first ICAST, right?
This is my first one.
Okay, so ICAST, for those of you that don't know, ICAST is basically our industry's largest event. This is a show that happens once a year. This is kind of the release launch, kind of the start of the year for a lot of brands. Now, we've been coming to ICAST ever since we've been a brand for well over 20 years. And through the course of, the last 5 or 6 years, ICAST has changed quite a bit, right? A lot of the brands that we do business with, like a lot of the Japanese brands, they don't come to ICAST. This is still kind of a strange, still in COVID year. So there's a lot of brands that normally would be here that aren't here. ICAST has made it so expensive to come that a lot of smaller brands, family-run brands, they can't really afford to come. And then, with social media and some new events like, Bassmaster Classic and that kind of stuff, a lot of the bigger brands like Shimano, Daiwa, some of these brands, they're fighting to release early. So we've already brought you guys a lot of the ICAST releases to the shop. We've shown them to you. We have some of them available already, but all that said, this is still the biggest event in our industry. It's only open to industry people. So this is going to be manufacturers, buyers like myself, retail store, wholesale, that kind of stuff. So, a lot of our customers never really get a chance to come in here and see ICAST for themselves. So Geoff and I thought it would be cool to come down here and basically give you guys a first-hand experience as to what an ICAST show would look like so that you guys can experience it. So what you're gonna see some cool new stuff. We're gonna walk through it, we're gonna talk through it. You're gonna see a ton of jerseys. Are you excited for the jerseys, Geoff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so jerseys is our nickname for all the, all the pros. Now, certainly there are a ton of pros in here. Majority of touring pros in their contract that they have to come to ICAST and, pimp the new product. You're gonna see a ton of chimping here. Every booth has the latest, greatest game changer, so it's literally just booths full of chimping. You know chimping?
No.
Geoff?
What is chimping?
So it's a photography term that I talk about a lot in fishing, but basically if you had a group of chimps, right, chimpanzees together,
yep,
and you put something cool in the middle
yeah,
of them, they're like, and that's kind of how every booth in ICAST is. Every new thing is like, the game changer,
yeah,
right? So, there's a lot of nonsense you have to kind of sift through, but there's a lot of really amazing things here. So at the end of the day, it's really fun. I'm excited to bring this to you guys so you guys can see this firsthand. And if you're ready, are you ready, Geoff?
Yeah, dude.
Let's go inside. All right, let's go, guys.
Yeah.
Are you doing like your own YouTube page or something? What, are you gonna be a YouTuber now?
Dude, don't pretend. I know you're a super fan. All right, guys, we are in the Daiwa booth. So, Daiwa is one of those brands that I kind of fanboy.
I like
Daiwa a little bit, right? And one of the things that we're super excited about, we've been teasing you guys because we were fortunate enough to get some prototype samples before the launch, but the brand new Steez AGS line of rods. So they really knocked this rod out of the park. Now, as much as I love Daiwa, I've never been a huge Daiwa rod fan, right? Daiwa standing with us. I don't want them to hear.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to what I'm saying here, okay? I've just always felt that they've been off a little bit. Now, Hippie's loved them, right? He's used them ever since he was a little kid. This is the first rod that I put in my hands that I have loved. So we've been using like the Moving Bait Special, right? You use their kind of jig rod.
Yeah, it was really sensitive.
Super sensitive. So basically they went back to that Compile X blank. They re-engineered it, made it even better, which is their highest end blank they've ever had. they have a new set of AGS guides. So this set is lighter, more sensitive, and much more durable. So AGS has kind of been this like stigma. As long as they don't break, they're amazing, but as soon as they break, they're kind of a pain in the ass because nobody has any to fix, right? So a lot of guys have been avoiding them, you know, kind of like the plague, but this new series is much stronger, so it can take more abuse. You don't have to baby them quite as much, and so far they've held up great, and we obviously don't take care of our stuff.
We definitely don't.
Very well,
right? We just throw it around.
So they're approved by Ben and Geoff. Super stylish, incredibly lightweight, right? So they have a whole line that we should see launching end of this month. Are we still on track for that? Yeah, so end of July, we should see these coming out. There's spinning, there's casting, there's reaction rods, there's bottom contact rods, right? New designed grips. They've gone away from that EVA foam back to a cork styling, so it's really aggressive, so comfortable. Excited for you guys to see them. That's the new Steez from Daiwa. All right, and one of the things that makes these rods so enjoyable to use, if you guys watched when I absolutely whooped Griff at the 1v1 challenge throwing the kick knocker, I was throwing this rod. This is the moving bait versatile, right? And I was even commenting like, oh my God, this is a really fun rod to catch fish on, right? And some rods are just more enjoyable to use than the others. One of the reasons for that is the new construction that Daiwa is using in their Steez is what they call X45. So basically what they've done is instead of just running graphite resin straight up, they are basically, you know, building this in an X shape, right? So everything's at a 45-degree angle through the build construction. So when the rod bends, it distributes the load evenly, so there's never any twisting in your hand, right? So you know how sometimes you get a big fish or it's under a lot of load and it causes it to kind of like pull and twist in your hand? It eliminates that. So you can actually feel the rod kind of fighting and going with the fish. It's just a lot of fun to use. So super stoked for the brand new design, the build, the tech. You guys are gonna love the Steez. All right, and then I got Griff's new favorite rod here.
Yes, dude.
Yes, this is the brand new Kage spinning the Ned.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So Kage is a, you know, pro shop only kind of inner label of Daiwa. We sell tons of the reels, love the reels. You guys have been loving the reels as well. They also have a rod line. This is a new addition, the Ned. Don't know why we need a Ned specific, but it's the right action. It's basically a light taper, extra fast. It's a great addition to the line, but really I just wanted to make sure that Griff saw that this was coming. I know he's
Griff
stoked
is gonna
for
buy
this.
all of them, dude.
Yeah, so good luck getting any, guys, because Griff is already he's pre-ordering now.
You know
I
he's
think.
Ned rigging right now.
Oh yeah. There you go. All right, couple new reels from Daiwa. A lot of you guys have been stoked about this guy. This is the brand new Ballistic MQ LT, right? So this is replacing the Ballistic LT. So the MQ stands for the monocoque frame. So essentially what that is the monocoque frame is a one-piece frame that allows Daiwa to put basically the biggest gearing of any spinning reel on the market. What that does is it eliminates screws, it eliminates any twisting or things falling out. It basically makes it kind of watertight, so it's sealed, so you don't have to worry about any moisture getting in. And it just gives you a lot more strength with that bigger gearing. It's made out of a brand new Zion Z material. It also has a Zion rotor, so it's incredibly light. Like here, Geoff. Feel that.
Wow.
So it weighs nothing.
That's actually insane.
Right, and that's a 3000 size. And here's the coolest part, it's gone down in price, 10 bucks. So they're really trying to keep the reel competitive for the hardcore fishermen to get all the tech. I mean, remember, monocoque was originally released in the Exist at 800 bucks, right? So now you're able to get one for basically $229 with all the bells and whistles. It's gonna be an amazing reel. Excited to get them in your hands and for you guys to feel it. You're gonna love it. So here you guys can see the size difference here. This is the Kage MQ, right? So you can see the monocoque frame. You can see the size of the gear plate versus a traditional reel that needs screws and different pieces to hold it together. So you can see it's just a much, much larger gearing. So you're gonna just have a lot more strength, a lot more rigidity. It's gonna be a smoother experience overall. That's the reason to get the MQ. All right, Daiwa is also looking at the price-conscious buyer, and they are rolling out the lowest price point that they have in a Zion frame. So also made out of the new Zion V material. We see the brand new Legalis. So these are going to be priced $69 to $89 depending on the size that you're going to get. They feature that same crazy lightweight. So Geoff, we all started with like $40 reels, $50 reels.
I still have $40 reels.
Right, I know you do. We see in your videos. But here, check this out. $69. See how light this is. Put this in your hand. And it's a 3000 size, right? So 69 bucks gets you so much now. This is the excitement of new technology coming out, is that you get this really dope stuff. So it's got all the bells and whistles, great drag, bang for the buck. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
my new favorite reel.
Yeah, so look for those.
Exist.
Well, maybe not that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, goodbye. Daiwa is also expanding their Samurai Fluoro into a camo version. So this is the Samurai Fluoro hidden concept. It's basically just a camouflaged line. For a lot of guys like that greener color, especially when they're fishing around a lot of vegetation. Does it make a difference? Isn't fluorocarbon supposed to be invisible anyway?
Yeah.
Right? But here's the thing, I think mentally, like in our minds a lot, if we have a clear line or a green line, it can make a difference to us. So if you've been feeling the need for a camo hidden concept, they've got you. Okay, so even though we have had these for quite some time, you guys have been getting them, been using them. This is the official launch of the brand new Daiwa Zillion SVT wing. Now, this is the best Zillion that Daiwa's ever made. It's got the SV boost, it's got the new hyperdrive, gearing and everything. It's an amazing reel. It feels great. If you guys haven't been using it, that SV boost is, I can't talk enough about it, right? So the Steez Limited's in the new Zillion. It's small little tweaks that make a huge difference. So check these out. They are available, so you can grab those. There's also another bait casting release that we teased a little bit ago, and this is scheduled for a fall release, but this is the brand new Steez CT SV. Okay, so basically the Steez CT has been the smallest, kind of their flagship Steez with, all the best tech, magnesium body, right? But it's been a really small profile reel. So it's been a reel that really we haven't been able to use on normal size stuff unless we want to buy new handles, and I know a lot of you guys geek out about that stuff. I just want to buy the fucking thing and use it, right? So what's nice about this is they put a larger handle. They went with a 90 millimeter handle. They put larger grips on it, so it feels like a full-size reel, but it still weighs absolutely nothing. So this is going to be the highest precision Steez in the lineup that's going to balance normal full-size rods. So as these rods get lighter and lighter and lighter, like Steez and so on and so forth, this is going to be a great one that I know you guys are going to love. It's expensive, right? 700 bucks, right? So we're going the opposite direction that we were at with the Legalis, but it's dope. So, if you're bougie like me, this is exciting, right? So I think you guys will really dig it. Again, small little improvements, not, huge. I mean, it's hard to take a reel that's arguably as good as a brand can do it and just make it, 10 times better, right?
Yeah.
Little improvements. So pretty stoked for this guy. Excited for you guys to get him. That's the new Steez CT SV. Not that the world needed yet another Tatula, right? Do I talk about this quite a bit? There's a lot of Tatulas,
There's
Geoff.
a few Tatulas.
But the
They come
first
out with
one I've
another.
actually been excited about, probably ever. Check it. The Tatula SV Limited. Okay, so they have taken the Tatula, they've given it a full aluminum frame, side plate, aluminum star drag, carbon fiber handle, cut out Zion grips. They basically just made it super solid. It's really light, but it's sexy.
Yeah.
Right?
The handle's sick, dude.
It is.
The whole body.
It looks
so
dope.
rad.
So this is going to be a limited one-time run from Daiwa coming this fall, right? So once we know for sure when they're going to come, we'll open it up for pre-order, let you guys scoop it up. But it's really smooth. It's really sexy, right?
I'm
actually saying good things about
Yeah,
Tatula.
about a Tatula.
Yeah. What's happening here? Maybe I'm turning into one of these Jersey guys. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, definitely check it out. It looks great. You guys are gonna love it. So there you go. Limited Tatula SV. Boom. Daiwa is also planning on doing a big soft goods launch this year. So we're gonna see a lot of soft goods coming down the pipe from Daiwa. Basically what that means, tackle organizations. So you're gonna see new tackle bags, new boat bags, pretty stylish. We're seeing, waterproof and, dry bags coming from them. Lots of new clothes. We're seeing straw hats, right? We're seeing new kind of bass print. Like if you come over here, Geoff, new stylish like bass prints. So, they just allow us fanboys to just geek out a little bit more, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, look for that stuff coming. We should see this stuff probably end of summer, early fall from Daiwa. And let's go to the next booth, dude.
Yeah,
all right, let's go.
People sending me more stuff. Of course, it's not me, but yes,
So-
you cost me a lot of money.
You're welcome. Yes, but isn't he way happier
He is
now?
way happier.
Yeah, okay,
yes,
that's good.
and he'll be here this afternoon. So
Okay.
I have to come find you so you can meet you in person.
That's awesome.
Look what you're doing to people, dude. You're ruining people's relationships.
No, I'm making spouses so happy.
It is our Sunday morning thing to watch the
Yeah.
podcast.
So your husband's
What's
not
coming
here.
out?
So let's say hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Rusty.
What's up, Rusty? Sorry we missed you.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Ben.
it. Ben.
Jeff.
Jeff, yes.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're my weekly Sunday. Oh God, what are we doing now? What's in stock? And then next thing, and you know that things are out of stock before he watches it.
Well, then he's not watching fast enough.
I know. That's
Rusty.
the problem.
What's happening?
Right.
Okay, so you need to set a better alarm for him,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Got
so
it.
it's 8 o'clock,
Wow. Okay.
Arizona time,
Okay.
every Sunday.
All right. We will do that.
Yeah, then it can cost you even more money.
Then it'll cost me more. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna do
then
that.
next time you're going to really hate my guess.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe you're setting him a late alarm so it is out
On
of stock.
purpose, it's out of stock.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's
I
smart.
see.
That
I
is
see.
smart.
Yeah.
I see what's happening.
Beating
here.
the system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was really nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you.
Yeah, and tell Rusty hello. If he sees
I will.
me,
He
have him
will.
come up. Okay.
He will.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Nice
you
to
guys.
meet you.
Have a
Nice
good
to meet
show.
you.
Thank
too.
you.
Ruining relationships every Sunday.
Rusty, what's up? Is this what this
is
what's
what it
coming
is,
down?
yeah.
No. I am fulfilling dreams and making. Did you see how happy? That couple is solid because they're having a great time. So. Nice to meet you, Brian.
Brian,
Yeah, nice
creek
to meet
crawler.
you.
The creek crawler, yep.
Oh yeah, right
Use a lot
on,
of
man.
Megabass stuff, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm a
thanks
big
for
fan
watching.
of the smaller stuff, the X70s and the X80s.
Oh, dude,
Yep.
that stuff's legit, man. Yeah.
I just caught a really actually.
Yeah, let me see.
That's actually my phone.
Oh, dude, that's boom. That's sick.
Isn't that awesome?
That's a good pic too. Maybe you should teach somebody how to take some pictures.
Yeah.
Takes the pics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to learn how to take
I
pictures.
did that with an
Yeah.
iPhone.
I'm not gonna say any names.
He's got a huge camera. And
I'm so bad.
Right? And
I'm
you
still
see my
bad.
pictures?
Oh
Yeah, they're all bad.
Yeah. Maybe I need
It
to
was
buy
good-
him an
it was
iPhone.
good to meet you,
Hey,
bub.
nice to meet you,
I
dude.
won't waste your time.
Yeah, appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. So we're having a little hookup meetup in the Evergreen booth. What's up, homie?
What's up? Long time no see.
So B Height in the house. He's gonna run us through some of the new Evergreen drops. Now some of these you guys have seen, but some of these are pretty exciting. So I know you're super excited about the jig. So let's start with the jig.
Yeah, so this is the new Evergreen Grass Ripper. It's going to come in 3 different sizes, 3/8 or a quarter, 3/8 half, and we got 10 colors. So what's really cool about this jig, obviously it has a unique head design. It really goes through the cover really well with that wedge-shaped head design. It has the same hook as the jackhammer, which is a 4/0 Gamakatsu, pretty much a wide gap O'Shaughnessy bend hook. Has a weight down the shank with a double hook keeper on it, or a double trailer keeper on it. And what we tried to do with the 10 colors is if you're catching them on a fire crawl jackhammer, you can switch right to a fire crawl swim jig. So when those fish get a little finessey, you can go right to that same color in a swim jig or a jackhammer. So they just kind of cross-reference.
Now this is a bait that, so the Grass Ripper is a jig that's been out in Japan, right? And so, some of these lucky fuckers, like Brett, he gets his hands on some of these, you know, the harder to get Japan stuff, right? And he's been, I mean, you've been using this a while. Hippie's been hot on this. Like a lot of guys, this has had a lot of buzz for the last couple of years. So you've been pretty instrumental about making it part of the normal lineup, because this is one of those jigs. I mean, there's 9 million jigs, right? 9 million swim jigs, right? But this is one of those that everybody actually looks for and uses.
Yeah, and we switched it from the JDM. It still has the same JDM head design, but we put the jackhammer hook in it and changed the keeper and stuff on. Yeah, made
US conditions.
We decided, you know, that jackhammer hook is about as good, a middle of the road, not too heavy, not too soft. So you can't make everybody happy on hook size, but it's just a good all-around Gamakatsu hook. And we just tweaked it a little bit and tweaked the colors, and now we came out with an awesome swim jig.
Yeah. So I can't help but notice one of these colors. This is a very nice looking color.
It is a good color.
I remember a jackhammer being in this color. What does Evergreen call this color exactly?
I think it's called chartreuse shad.
Huh. It seems like a couple of really smart dudes must have thought of this color.
I think those guys are geniuses.
Me too. I remember when this used to be a hookup exclusive color.
And a jackhammer.
Identity thief.
or an allowed buzz.
Oh, well, look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Man. We did too good of a job on that color, man.
I mean, when you get copied, that's just flattering.
I guess, yeah. So look at that, Geoff. The first knockoff of iCast.
Bam.
It was us. We got knocked off. Who knew? All right, talk to me about some of these new colors in Combat Crank. Well, actually, so we don't talk a lot about Combat Crank because I think it's been really getting overshadowed by the Flat Force, right? Because that's kind of been the hot bait. And I think Combat Crank gets misunderstood. Here, I'll let you talk about Combat Crank since you're throwing it all the time.
These are the sizes we make them in. So that
16,
yes,
14, or 13.
A 12, an 8, and a 10, and a 6, I believe.
And basically those numbers are talking about dive depth, right? So in Japan, right, these are combat cranks, right? And then there'll be like combat crank 480, which is 4.8 meters, right? So in the US, to make it simple, they're CC 16, right? So same thing, they transfer over.
Okay, we're gonna get
CR.
Yeah, CR.
I need that.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you passed that test. So CR16. So basically it's transferring that same depth, right? It's just reapplying it, making it a little bit more user-friendly so, you know, us Americans don't have to use math, right? Because that's dumb. But talk to us about why a combat crank is good, and talk to us about some of these new colors.
So the combat crank, I think one of the biggest thing, it has more of a swimming motion for a crankbait. It's not like a real hard vibrating bait. It has a nice swimming motion. It has an awesome weight transfer. So even like this size crankbait it casts like a rocket, especially on 10-pound. Just a really underrated crankbait that catches fish.
So easy to cast. Like windy days, you know, big lakes, big water, that's where the combat crank is really efficient.
I would say like the 8 and the 10 for the size of them and how deep they go and how easy they cast. And I mean, they catch fish. So we came out with a few new colors. This is like a ghost Wagasaki, and then this is like a mirrored Wagasaki. So it still has a clear top with kind of a flash. And then one of my favorite that came from the Flat Force, which is cold shad.
Yeah. So this needed to be.
Yeah. It's just.
Does this replace Demande shad? I think it does. Remember, they took some of the colors out that they made for the U.S. and then they finally came out with better.
Diamond shad is, so that, that's a better color.
Yeah, 100%.
So
that's dope. And then, last but not least, we had brought these in last year when they released at the Osaka show, but now they're going to become coarse. They're going to actually become available on a regular basis, hopefully, which is great. So the shower blows 777. So it's a 77 millimeter shower blows, or SB 777. I forget that they have the different acronyms here, but Dude, this has been, I mean, the shower blows has been a staple for, I mean, dude, it feels like I've been using it for
8 or
at
10
least a
years.
decade,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what makes the shower blows? I mean, I talk about it a lot. We never get a chance to hear you talk about it.
So-
Talk about a shower blow.
So, I mean, obviously it has a cup lip, which it allows it to spit water. The nice thing about shower blows, you can work it real gentle, and it can be a very subtle topwater bait, or it can be very aggressive depending on how hard you're twitching that rod. The other thing about all the shower blows, and especially this one, it has the tail weight in it, which allows you to throw this small bait a long ways. This has 2 hook hangers on it. Of course, it's going to come with an awesome Evergreen treble feathered hook, or feathered treble hook. And what's unique about the 777, we got some unique colors that are not available in the other SBs, like these kind of mirrored colors right here, which are definitely unique colors that are pretty dynamite. And then of course this is my favorite, the skeleton bone. That's the one I probably throw around most. Yeah,
skeleton chartreuse, skeleton bone. I mean,
this bait's going to be for when they really get on that small bait.
yeah, like yesterday. Yesterday they would have crushed this stupid thing. We were fishing and they were eating.
Yeah, little tiny bait, and that's so hard to match. And then having a bait that you can actually cast that small. I mean, it's not going to make as much commotion as the 125 SB. So it's going to have to be relatively calm. I mean, it's not a draw up bait. It's more of like, when it's calm or they're boiling. That's really where this bait's going to shine.
So it should be an exciting addition to the lineup. So there you go, guys. A few cool new drops from Evergreen. Good to see you, homie. Have a
See
good
you guys.
show. Peace out. See you back at the shop.
All right, later.
All right, guys, we snuck back into the back corner of the Daiwa space to find a pretty exciting collaboration that they are doing with HMKL. So HMKL, the acronym HMKL, is how a lot of you guys know them in Japan, stands for Handmade Kazumi Lure. So this is a small little niche brand, really just one guy who makes amazing hand-carved wood jerkbaits in Japan, and they sell for 100, 200, 300 bucks a piece. Well, he teamed up with Daiwa, and they have been working for literally 2 years on figuring out how to take his actions, his hand-carved baits, and turn them into a production bait that we could deliver to, the masses, right? So, Daiwa used their technology to get it to have the same action with the ABS. They put a circuit board lip so that it could mimic some of that hand-carved wood movement. They installed their magnetic weight transfer system in it, so you get great casting. The front and rear hooks are also swiveled, so if you get any of those funky hook sets or fish hooked on the outside or whatever, you're not going to risk them popping off or tearing or anything like that. So super stoked to get this in. They are calling it the HMKL Steez Minnow, right? So it will be a collab project. We should see these land this fall, hopefully, if everything goes as planned. So look for these coming out. I'm stoked for this. Another super dope JDM jerkbait, which we all need more of, right, in our box. So there you go.
One.
All right, hanging out in the Strike King booth. So this is wander through and see what they have planned for us. We talk about deep cranking a lot, right? And the XD series is one that I always talk about. So they are coming out with a hard knock version in the XD. So basically it's going to have just like one big hard knock, kind of a one knocker, right? So, revolutionary? No. Something different that we're probably going to use? Yeah. So, look for those to start coming down the pipe, the Hard Knock XD from Strike King.
2, 1.
And because the world needs more fire craw. Thunder Cricket and fire craw. Are you getting that, Joe? No. I'm going to stay Evergreen. But, hey, it's
if
new
you're a
and
fan,
it's iCast.
boom.
And that's how it happens
We got
around
it.
here. Let's
Yeah.
go. All right, so we came into the Z-Man booth. Now, Z-Man is, dude, they're cranking out some shit right now. So they're just taking what they're doing great, expanding on it. So yet another chatterbait. This is becoming like the Tatula,
Yeah.
right? Like, how many different chatterbait options do we need here? More, I guess,
Yes,
is
we
the
do.
answer. Okay, so this is the new big blade chatterbait. So look at the size of the blade on that thing. So in theory, more blade, wider, harder, right? Just a different presence in the water. So available in a bunch of colors. I don't know. Is bigger better?
Yes.
It is.
Always, dude.
Interesting. So I guess if that's your opinion, here you go. Now you got some big blades. Big blades.
One.
So I'm in a corner that I know you're going to be thrilled about,
Yes, sir.
Geoff. Yeah. So,
Ooh.
you know, as many of you know, Geoff is a swim bait guy. So, you know, Z-Man is getting right in Geoff's lane.
Right in my
and
lane.
They're a swim bait brand,
Woo.
right? So this is the Hercules swim bait. So basically it's a pre-rigged swim bait, right? But it's made out of the Elastec material. So, you know, this type of bait, basically, it's kind of like a, you know, what, Storm, I guess, was the brand that really had this for a long time, right? Only this is going to have the Elastec, so it's going to stretch, going to be super durable. So, you know, I know a lot of you guys still throw these. You know, in our neck of the woods, a lot of guys go down to Mexico, and you can only bring a few, you know, you can't bring my ridiculous
Your
amount of
stuff.
tackle, right, every time you go. So you got to kind of pick and choose. I could see a bait like this being really effective. Geoff mentioned like striper guys too to me earlier. So, you know, I could see this having a lot of game. It's in some very lifelike, you know, realistic colors. I think you guys, you know, again, if this is the type of bait you're going to throw, I could see this getting added to the arsenal pretty easy. So the Hercules from Z-Man. And then also, Geoff, you became an expert yesterday at the speedworm.
I did. I was a god at the speedway.
You were. You caught your first speedworm bass in Florida,
Yup.
right? So, you know, not to leave that out, but did you see they kind of have a speedworm thing?
Oh no.
Yeah,
It's done. I'm buying all the packs, dude.
it's over, right? So the turbo fatties, right? It's all you. This is
all
basically
me.
your whole section.
Yeah,
here.
this is mine.
You should have been doing this segment. So there you go.
Speedworm
A
and
couple
swim
new
baits,
offerings.
dude.
Yeah, it's over. So a couple new offerings from Z-Man. You know, cool stuff. Let's keep going. All right, guys. So we are in the Seaguar booth, checking out to see what new releases they have in store for us. And as you can see, they are going the opposite direction of what I get excited about. Value packed, budget friendly. So much so they're even putting 101 on their boxes. So a new fluorocarbon, a new braid, 101, right? So
Yeah.
what, beginner? Right?
Yeah.
Is that
How
what
to?
it's, right?
How to?
So the braid is a 4-strand camo braid. I don't know, here, rub your fingers down it.
You want me to floss my teeth with it?
Yeah, feel that line.
It does feel like 101.
It does. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess everybody has to make decisions on direction, right? I was kind of hoping that we'd see more, you know, with, you know, Takumi Ito and some of these guys kicking ass. I was hoping we'd see maybe more JDM influence come, you know, versus this direction. But, I mean, you know, it's kind of like what we talked about before, or we were just talking about it, right? Like, in my whole life, I've never gone cheap on the most important part,
Yeah.
which is your line, right?
It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Like,
You're throwing expensive baits, you know.
you got to have a good hook,
Yeah.
right? That's the most important thing. You got to have line. It's the second most important thing. I mean, you could have a piece of shit rod and reel.
Yeah.
Not that I do, but I mean, you could, right? But dude, if you got a shitty ass line, I mean, you're fucked. So I don't know. I guess you know, going for the big box or the Walmart crowd or whatever.
Right here, dude.
You know, so not super stoked, a little disappointed, but there's your new stuff. If you guys are beginners, which nobody that watches this channel is, there you go, 101.
Get it now.
Beginner fluoro, beginner braid, right? Game changer. Not.
One.
All right, so now we are in the Spro booth, checking out some of the new offerings from them. A couple of hard bait offerings. So we see a stab from Spro in the crawler game. Good news, Geoff. Another crawler.
Yay.
Your favorite.
Yeah.
So, you know, dude, every brand's got to have a crawler. So here we go. So it is the Creeper 80. So it's an 80 millimeter size. Yeah, it's a crawler.
I know how much you love crawlers.
I need to start pond fishing more so I can catch a fish on a crawler.
Right.
Okay. Just like every brand needs something like this, right? So the Cyclone Prop Junior, you know, there you go. You have some body wobble, right? So a couple of hard bait differences. We see some new colors in some of the crankbaits, you know, your favorite crankbaits, the Fat Papa, Little John, you know, some of these we have brought to you guys early, pre-release that you guys have seen. So some new color offerings in those as well. And I also see some soft plastics, so let's go check out those.
So one.
All right, how about some Spro soft plastic, Geoff?
Okay.
Okay,
I don't think
so
I've seen these before.
they are taking a stab at the soft plastic game, expanding their lineup. I'm going to show you a few of them. So this is the pintail stick, right? So it's available in a full size and then a little baby guy. Basically designed kind of like a Senko. You could certainly put it on a jig head or just fish it weightless. You know, it's got your favorite little, you know, dangly thing on the back, right? Right, I know.
My tickler?
Yep, you got your little tickler back there. So it's available in a bunch of colors. So if you guys aren't familiar with Spro plastic, which is everybody, because who the fuck's familiar with Spro plastic, right? A couple things to point out. So their claim to fame is this amino bite. So that's an infused scent. That one's not that stinky because it's been sitting out. It's kind of stinky. Here, have a sniff.
I'm good.
Okay, so that's like it's kind of like a shrimpy scent, you know,
Okay.
pretty normal, typical. One thing that's pretty exciting is all the packages here at the show do have made in Japan on them. So, you know, one of the challenges to bringing a soft plastic bait to market, especially when it's not produced like in Japan or the US, is the quality control is usually pretty shitty. So if they are going to keep these made in Japan, there should be amazing quality control on them, which is pretty exciting and pretty dope, honestly, for a new introduction. So there's the pintail stick. They also are in the kind of Ned rig game here. This is their bait called the Sakura. Now, this is, obviously it's a TRB.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding, right? And just to make sure that it stays with that theme, they've gone with their kind of elastomer, you know, plastic as well. They're calling Dura Tough. So basically, it's a little thinner. It's got ribs.
Yeah, I
which,
like ribs.
I know, ribs, ticklers. We're in Geoff's zone right now. All right, staying in Geoff's zone. Look at that.
Oh,
It's a swim bait.
big swim bait.
It's a big one.
It's a big
That's
rib
what she
swim
said.
bait.
Yeah. So they're going in this market too. I don't know. You know, it doesn't.
Is that replacing your K-Tex?
It's not really. It doesn't look too floppy. You know, I like my swim baits a little floppier,
Oh,
right?
Not a stick?
But you know, it's a stab. Hey, look, I'll try it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, first impressions, I'm not that super stoked about it, but you know, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, they are in this game as well. That is the Pocket Tail Minnow. And then they also have a Pin Tail Minnow, which is gonna be more of a smaller profile, kind of drop shot type bait. You know, kind of like, you know, the OSP HP minnow.
Yeah.
They've kind of incorporated that same kind of pocket in the back there to give the back end just a little bit of flexibility, so it'll have a little bit more unique movement to it. So it'd be interesting. I mean, I'm gonna give them a shot,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
And it's got,
That's replacing your HP minnow.
this is comboing your two favorite things, ribbed ticklers
rib
on the back.
jigglers.
So dude, best of all worlds right there. So some new product from Spro. Be interesting to see how it works, but they're in the soft plastic game, which is cool. So
Check it
let's
out.
keep going. All right, guys, in Gamakatsu now, and a couple of new releases from them. So one that I'm actually pretty stoked about, and that's their new underspin head. So they're going to come in a regular size, and I'm also seeing some underspin minis here, which is dope because it's going to feature a smaller hook for some of those smaller, 3-inch spark shads, smaller K-Tex, that kind of stuff. It does feature a spring on the hook, so in theory it should hold the baits really well. I mean, dude, this isn't revolutionary, right? But it seems like in today's market, underspins are so hard to just get your hands on. So, having with the right head and the right hook, it's dope. So, good job, Gamakatsu, on that. We're also seeing a bunch of Jika rig type stuff here. The full, set where you get the hook with the weight. They're also selling just the weights individually, the hooks individually. So kind of staying on that whole kind of jig rig type trend. They are in the market, which is cool. And then another thing that I know a lot of you guys will be excited about is we are starting to see some of these like beast hook sizes coming from Gamakatsu. I'm not trying to pirate and drop owner names in everything that I'm talking about, but since that's kind of the standard, right, really in this big like swim bait underspin world, this is basically their introduction to it. I like the look of the hook. It's got a good gap above it, so I think they did a really good job. It should hook them really well. So we're seeing some 9/0, some 10/0, 3/8 ounce, half ounce with the underspin, so that should be pretty dope. And then there's some, the normal stuff, right? Circle hooks that, none of us use. I mean, I wish I needed a 9/0 circle hook.
Oh, you don't need to use one of those?
Maybe a new drop shot hook?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Freaking water dogs.
Right? There's a couple new like round heads, with dual like titanium weed guards and stuff, that would obviously have a purpose, right? But that's basically what you're looking at new from Gamakatsu this year. So let's keep wandering, Jeff. Jeff, this is the first time that I've ever been to an iCast that I've been in a St. Croix booth.
How does it feel, dude?
It feels bizarre.
Yeah.
But it also feels pretty exciting because they have some cool new things that we've known has been coming down the pipe. Now, here's what's even crazier, right? I am literally going to talk right now
Yep.
about St. Croix Bass X. Who would ever thought,
You
all
heard
the
it
way
here.
to Orlando, Florida, to talk about their $120 to $150 rod. But here's the scoop. So Bass X has always kind of been their budget rod, right? They have redesigned it, new blanks, lighter, new graphics. But here's what's cool. So Geoff and I, last October, they sent us home with some prototype swim bait rods, and we helped them kind of get them dialed in. We're seeing them now. So $150 swim bait rods. There's 3 of them. They're all 710. There's a heavy, an extra heavy, and a double extra heavy. The dope thing is they're all parabolic actions. So they're all gonna bend through the middle of the rod, right? So they're all kind of designed for a glide bait, a hard bait. It's an action that is really hard for brands to get right, but that St. Croix does really, really well in their other rods, and they finally put it into swim bait rods. So what you're gonna get with Bass X, first off, they're really light. They have a full EVA foam grip with some kind of cool cork highlights. They've lengthened the grip,
Yeah,
thank God,
dude.
from our prototype samples. So, now you can bomb it out, and there's plenty of room to tuck it, right? So you can actually fish a swim bait the proper way. It is a hybrid guide train, so you're gonna see SIC guides for the first couple, and then they transition to stainless steel up top. I mean, there's a $150 rod, right? So I'm not expecting there to be, titanium guides or
Right.
anything up. The advantage of switching to the stainless is it lightens it, right? So you're not gonna get a tip heavy rod, and you get a lot of durability out of it. So, you're not obviously not gonna baby this like you would baby, $600 or $800
Yeah.
swim bait rod, right? But it's super dope, right? So all of the ratings that you see here, if you guys aren't happy with these ratings,
Right here.
somebody you gotta talk to
Yeah.
about that. Somebody's responsible.
Hit me
for
up.
that. Yeah. But no, they're all accurate. We took these all out. Geoff, basically threw every swim bait possible on all these. Even the double extra heavy, which is the 4 to 8 ounce lure rating, is still parabolic through the middle. I think you guys are gonna love throwing your 6-ounce baits on this. So 150 bucks, probably the best deal in swim bait rods on the market that I've seen. What do you think, Geoff?
It's up there, dude.
Yeah,
They're really nice.
they are. So, and dude, this is no blowing smoke.
No, dude.
They're nice.
I fished
so,
them. They're parabolic. If you're gonna throw a glide bait and you're looking for a cheap rod, this thing is sick.
Yeah. So,
great.
you know, there you go. $150 swim bait rod that's good.
From St. Croix.
From St. Croix.
At
Who would've-
Icecast, baby.
Who would have thought, right? They got a couple other things I want to show you guys, so let's head over to the other side. Okay, now this is probably tripping you out a little bit, Geoff.
Yeah.
We're at the victory display,
Okay.
and it's not you.
That isn't me, and it looks weird.
It's so weird to walk up to this rack. If you guys have been in our store, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't been in our store,
Here's a
this is
picture.
what we're talking about. So our rack is definitely better. But here's what's cool about the Victory line. So Victory was St. Croix's launch earlier this year. $200, made in the USA, lifetime warranty, right? All the things that St. Croix brings to the table. But it was a pretty small launch. There's only a handful of casting rods, handful of spinning. They've done very well. A lot of you guys have loved them. They're very light, right? They're expanding the line. So now we're seeing basically an expansion of 17 different rods throughout spinning and casting. So it's going to be a full lineup of rods now. So if you guys have been into it, you can look for more. They have also got into the swim bait game. So there are 3 swim bait models as well here in the Victory. Now these are going to be faster tapers. So these are going to be more like soft bait rods, right? So where the Bass X was more, treble hook, these are going to be more like single hook type rods. Still incredibly light, like here, there's a 710 heavy.
Oh yeah, stupid light.
So, they definitely did the right thing, being light. It's going to be fast, and there's this super trippy mind thing going on in my head, and I'm not sure. We were just talking to Ryan, their product developer. Half EVA, half cork,
I've never seen that, Ben.
and it's tripping my mind, dude, because it feels like I'm holding 2 different rods, just the way you're gonna have to put your hands, right? It's tripping me out.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they just want to see the market response. They love them. They think anglers are gonna dig them. I'm just not sure. What do you think so far? I mean, I know we haven't thrown them around, but it's weird, right?
It's definitely weird with the cork and EVA on 2 different hands.
Right.
It's weird if you want to get used to it. It's just a regular rod, but
Yeah.
the
So
end of the day-
I don't know. Maybe after they get gritty and you use them, you just get accustomed to it. It's just a strange feeling.
but I guess they probably did it so it's different from the Bass X.
Right. Just something different.
But
Set
they
it
could have just
aside.
gone full cork, but hey,
100%. But not to steal the show from all the other rods. There's new spinning. There's new casting. So if you guys have been a fan of Victory, stay tuned. These are going to be launching in the summer, early fall. You should see the entire product line from St. Croix. Done is taking it out of the package and throwing it. I haven't even optimized this. That's why I wanted to come, because I wanted to see. I wanted to learn.
Here we go.
Inside-
We'll learn together.
Inside and outside there's a nut.
Okay.
So many times this kind of prop to change it, this heat on will break the plastic.
Right.
Eventually you have to use a glue. But here we have a design for 2 nuts, one outside, one inside.
Okay.
Yeah, one outside, one inside.
So everything's reinforced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's like history to make it, baby.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
next year, you'll have something out.
So-
Super dope.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
right?
people,
Yeah, you saw it
people,
here.
people in Japan say he has a good hand, and because so quick to make all the lure body. He's mold with.
All right, guys, so we are in the Nishine Lure Works booth. They have made the Trek, and they have a brand new bait. This is the Abino 110. So this is the topwater bait that they've been showing. Super unique,
Yes,
right?
I
And
would
I
say
think
so.
I think that's the biggest thing with Nishine is that there's so many damn knockoffs here at this show. Like, it gets exhausting, right? To go, I mean, it's just enough, right? So these guys are constantly trying to just take something and reinvent it and make it better. And so this is a very cool concept. So this is a topwater bait, Beano 110. Now, at first glance, it has two props, and you'll notice that they're reverse, right? It also has a big blade on the bottom. So this is kind of borrowing from like that Goodpecker blade, right? But here's what's dope about this bait. It's completely customizable, right? So just because it comes like this doesn't mean this is how it has to stay. When you get the package, it's going to have, it's going to be attached and put together just like how I'm showing it to you here, but it also has a smaller blade and a weight. So this big blade, just like on the Goodpecker, as you wind it, it's going to come, it's going to hit, and it's going to create that kind of loud knock, right? If you don't want that loud knock, you can replace it with the smaller blade. It's going to be a tighter, more of a vibration, right? You could also replace that blade with the weight. It's just going to turn it into more of like a wake bait, right? So instead of it being right on the surface, it's going to be more of a wake. You could add a second weight, and it could be a slow sink. These props can also be removed or changed, and you can flip direction. So, you know, one of the challenges to, you know, ABS plastic baits in the past has been if you start unscrewing these pieces, you break the plastic, you crack it, right? So they designed it in a certain way to where it's reinforced inside and out, as you can see, so you can untwist the front and the back anytime you want, right? And it's not going to break the plastic. So you can take these blades off. If you leave it like this, it's going to be a really loud kind of through the water. You could flip this around the other way and soften it. It'll be a little bit more finesse. You can remove it completely and have just a little rocking action or a walking action. So one bait, several different ways you can fish it. Pretty dope, right? So pretty excited. These should start shipping out here this month. So we expect these to be available within the next couple of weeks. And then this fall dropping, you know, we sell tons of this Numazu, right? So this is the catfish soft plastic. We talk about it a lot in the shop. We sell a ton of them. They're coming out with more of a smallmouth version, right? It didn't have to be small. It's basically just a junior version, but really designed to be more of a smallmouth size instead of this big, thick plastic size. So this will probably be a fall drop for them. So new soft plastic, new hard bait, pretty dope. Definitely check those out from Nishine. All right, so we are in the official, unofficial Megabass booth, but you knew we were gonna sneak in some cool things from Megabass. So here you go. A lot of you guys have been asking for this. We started showing this back maybe like a year and a half ago when the first prototypes started coming out. They have finally reached the final market sample. So here we go. The Sleeper Croix is coming. Now, probably won't see these drop in until the spring, right? So I know this is kind of a tease, but this is going to be super dope. We were throwing this up earlier this summer in Michigan. It hooks them great. It's just like the Dark Sleeper, where it has the internal hook in there that hides in the body of the craw. It falls and stands upright. It's a no-brainer. It's going to be super slick. It's available in one weight, so it's a 5/8 ounce, which is great. So it's kind of a great all-around size. So there it is, Sleeper Croix. A couple of hard baits also. How about an eye by eye? Where were you, Jeff? You're supposed to save me. How about a Super Z3? So the Z1, Z2 have been amazing crankbaits. Now there's an extended bill, so we're looking at the Super Z3. So you get that same small profile, that 2-inch profile, 1/4 ounce, has that internal LBO, so it casts like a rocket, but now with a lip that can get down 12 to 14 feet. So now you get a great, you know, mid-dive for a bait this size. This one's gonna be hot. This one we should see trickle in spring as well. Spring, fall. Fall. All right, so this one we might actually see this year. So fall is the target time on the Super Z3. And then this guy has been teased quite a bit over in Japan. This is the Eye by Eye, this is the TX. So again, kind of going at that longer lip to really get that deeper dive. This is going to be a spring release and more of that shad profile. So really cool that they're going for some of this deeper, smaller profiled stuff. I'm super stoked about this because I'm a sucker for that 12 to 14 foot zone. And of course, the sleeper crawl, you know that's gonna happen. So there you go. There's the new drops from Megabass, the unofficial Megabass drop here at ICAST.
Special guest reappearance from Ryan.
Oh, reappearance from Ryan. Have you learned how to catch smallmouth since last we've seen you?
Well, I mean, I'm still not really sure who won the challenge, but...
What do you mean? It was obvious. I announced myself the winner, so that was me.
You know what? Customer's always right, I guess.
It's a terrible philosophy, right? And while we're talking about Megabass, let's talk about the next limited edition color run Respect series. This is one I've been waiting for, Jeff. I've been hyping this up in my head. This is the color Rising Sun. Now, this will be just like all the Respect series colors. It'll be available in, you know, I think it's 13 or 14 different baits, but Rising Sun is very simply, it is a clear bait. It's got just a little hit of chartreuse on the top that kind of transfers through down to the bottom. Different eyes on this, I mean, sick eyes. It's just a very finesse. Dude, I'm a sucker for clear. You make fun of me all the time for clear. I know you are. I love anything clear. So Rising Sun, this will be a one-time drop. It will be dropping this weekend at the Hookup Tackle. So look for our What's New video. And again, 110, 110 Junior, Pop Max, Pop X, all the usual suspects, okay? There you go. Megabass at ICAST and limited edition color. So, boom.
This booth that we're
What's
in.
better? I don't know. What booth are we? We're in the middle of the fucking walkway.
Yeah, Megabass right here.
Yeah, here we go. All right, let's keep going. Okay, from Catchco.
Yeah.
10,000 fish head hunter. Okay, here.
Yeah, show me what you got.
Yeah. Innovation
At its finest.
is what I have here. Nothing but the finest innovation. I don't know where the inspiration comes from for some of these things.
Dude, what inspiration. It's all original. It's a very original design
So,
that I haven't seen in
hook
any other...
in a fin. Yeah, I've never seen
bait.
anything quite like this before.
High quality.
Wait, what?
High quality?
Okay.
Original.
It's
Innovative.
got some like tribal coloring though.
I like that.
So that's innovative.
Yeah, from
Right?
Catchco.
So, okay.
Yeah.
There's
Coming
one.
soon to the hook.
There's one. Hey,
Ben, are those shower blows that you took from Evergreen?
of course not.
Oh, we're in the
We're in the Berkley booth. It's a cane walker shower
I literally
blow.
thought that was
Come
the
on,
same.
come on, guy. Okay, brand new tech, never ever been seen before. Having a hard time even trying to be ridiculous. So here we have another victim. It's an Assay gill flap. No,
It's a Java gill?
no, no.
And,
it's a-
and a gill? No, I'm
no.
sorry.
Oh, let's just go to this
yeah,
one.
The next innovative
So,
product.
Dark Sleeper. Wait.
That's a... Oh.
Well, I mean, they tried. I guess they couldn't figure out the dorsal fin,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this line thing is pretty cool,
Yeah, that's sick.
right? Yeah, so that's pretty dope.
Innovative. Right there.
Yeah.
Next level.
And, you know, it's an ex-pro staffer too, so it makes sense, right? So I get it. Kind of the same triangular head. I see. It's innovation. This is the innovation,
We're here.
right? Who needs the dorsal fin when you have the line?
Boom.
All right, guys, we are in the Savage booth. So Savage has been making a lot of, you know, great swim baits that we've been selling a lot of, and they are carrying that on with their Pulse Tail series. So the Pulse Tail gill is one you guys remember, right? You remember this, Jeff?
Oh, I
Right?
definitely
The
remember.
RTF
Ready
series
to...
fish, right?
Yeah.
So that's expanding into some smaller sizes. So look at that cute little dude. It's a little 3-inch gill, right? That one's going to be dope. They're also doing the same thing in a little 3-inch baitfish. So they've had a baitfish, it's just been a little bit too big for most guys throwing around a little minnow or baby shad. So now they're downsizing into some of these smaller sizes. We're also seeing an expansion in some of their swim bait lines, and they're expanding colors into the black crappie, which is pretty dope. Because a lot of guys are fishing, you know, bass that are eating bluegills, different panfish. So it's always fun to try to match it as close as possible, and we all know that crappie are a legit food source for the bass. So check that out, new from Savage. Innovation staying strong here yet again, Geoff. So
More innovation.
I
dude.
don't know where the inspiration comes from.
No clue.
They kept the fin, right? So now
Very different.
it doesn't seem to be high enough. It's very different.
It's completely different. I've never seen anything on the market like it before.
Yeah, so I mean, mind blown, really.
New
is
from Savage.
all I can say.
really.
Just brand new, period.
Yeah.
Right? Whew. All right, guys. So we are at our last stop of the day, Geoff. Maybe. I think we've conquered most of the show.
Where are we at?
So we are at the Shimano. Some new releases, some new iCast releases from Shimano. They've been teasing this pretty hard this week, right? Getting a lot of guys juiced. But let's highlight a few of the releases. So here we go. A new Corrado MGL. Okay, so yet another version of Corrado, right? This guy has had more changes and morphs over the years than probably any reel I can think of. But in theory, this should be the best Corrado that's ever come out. It is the MGL. It's a magnesium frame, so it's super light. You're used to Corrado, right, Geoff? They're usually like aluminum and anchors.
Yeah.
Here, feel this. You haven't had it yet.
Wow, that's way lighter than I thought.
Super light.
Especially for a Corrado.
100%. So, all the tech basically transfers forward. They put in the micro module gearing, which is great. So it's going to have a lot of strength, a lot of power. Magnesium frame, $199. So it goes up a little bit in price, but it's worth the few extra bucks to get the lightness, to get the toughness. So there's the new MGL. Corrado also came out with a BFS reel, right? So this is a Corrado BFS. Now, these have started already to trickle in. We should see them in full normal supply here, hopefully by this fall. But what's nice about this is, we've been geeking out of the shop about BFS for, the last year or so, right? And we instantly turned into like bougie, snobby BFS guys,
Yes, you
right?
did.
Yeah. So, in normal fashion, we're throwing expensive shit, right? $1,000 on reel combos with stupid BFS, right? So now it gives us an option, sub $200 to get a great BFS reel. It's going to basically be similar in size to like a Corrado 70, right? So it still gives you the goods. It feels like it's a legit reel. It doesn't feel like a little toy like sometimes like my Steez Airs do, right? But with the BFS spool, so you can cast out lighter stuff. So a couple great additions in the Corrado line. Let's go see what they have in spinning. So a reel that is definitely needed an upgrade big time is the Sustain. So it's kind of been like the bastard reel of the Shimano lineup, always kind of positioned in between, everybody's always kind of buying the Stratic or, that $199 reel, or they've been jumping up, right? So the Sustain's always kind of been lost in the shuffle. So now we see a new design. The styling is sick. The styling is on point, right? So it's basically a matte black reel. It retains that kind of gold and silver, hit of the highlight. It's much lighter. So the old Sustain, kind of like the old Corrado, felt like a fucking brick, right?
Yeah.
So this one's nice and light. I don't know. I find myself so confused with in-between reels, right? So, here this guy is at $299, right? So is it that much better, like, in the Vanford? Like, do we need another reel in that same price point? I don't know. But This is more my speed and color. It seems like that drag is really smooth. It's kind of a strange material, like it feels a little weird, kind of plasticky, but obviously it's not. It's a combination of their CI4, but I think it's going to be a fun reel to fish. It'll be interesting to see how it goes and how it performs on the water, but definitely going to look better in the reel case, right? If nothing else, it's going to look better in my Instagram photos, if nothing else. So the new Sustain from Shimano should be dropping this fall. All right, guys, so new hard bait offering from Shimano. So finally, we talk about it a lot that, in Japan, Shimano, Daiwa, huge lure brands, right? Huge. Like you walk into a tackle store in Japan, it's, a row that you would normally see for something like Strike King in the US would be Shimano or Daiwa baits, hard baits, soft baits, right? And they make some amazing things. So, another JDM jerkbait, Jeff?
Hey.
Hey, let's do it. So, Shimano is introducing 2 jerkbaits. This is the World Minnow and the World Diver. So, kind of a deep lip and a standard lip. Now, the World Minnow. What Shimano does on there is, if you're looking, they have this thing called Flash Boost. So inside there is basically like this plate that you should see kind of quivering. And so as it moves and twitches, the bait stops, but that plate continues to quiver and it's continuously giving off different light, different flashes, just kind of something different.
Yeah.
Right? So, hey, all the knockoffs we've seen today,
hey,
I'll take different.
Somewhat original,
right?
Yeah.
I'll take different. At least there was some thought given to it. Dude, I'm interested to throw it, so I'm intrigued. Should be pretty neat. It looks like they're doing it in 6 colors. They're all kind of natural bait fish patterns, and each one has that boost in there. So, there's kind of a, oh, look at that. I picked a clear one up, Jeff. Such a sucker for that clear. But you can see that kind of boost just continues to pulse and shake in there once it's moving. So pretty cool concept. I think you guys will dig it. New from Shimano. All right, so a couple of rod things from Shimano. We sell tons of the Poison Adrena rods, right? So Jeff was even commenting, you like Poison Adrena?
I like Poison Adrena.
Everybody likes Poison Adrena, right? So Poison Adrena is a collab between Shimano and Jackall. I call them Jackall Poison Adrenas, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't matter, right? They are finally expanding the line, both in spinning and casting. So we're going to see some new additions. They're, maintaining the same shape, all the same components. They're just adding some extra rods to it. So we see a 7.6 extra heavy. They're calling the Power Versatile. It's going to be pretty dope. We see just a straight up versatile, a 6.10 medium, which is basically a transfer over from X-Pride because they can't ever keep any fucking X-Prides in stock. So now there's going to be a 610 medium option in the Jackall for jerkbait, topwater, jig and worm, of course, right? They're expanding the glass lineup as well. So this is one that's been needed, a 7.2 medium heavy glass. So this is going to be a true, chatterbait rod, square bill, that kind of stuff. And of course their spinning line is going to expand as well in some other options. So exciting there. We also see a reintroduction of the Shimano Corrado line of rods, right? So, dude, hold your excitement, Jeff.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
I saw you just get super stoked.
Yeah.
So, the Corrado rods, they've come and gone over the years, right? So, the new Corrado rods, they kind of look like, I don't know, Hulk-ish with that kind of green hit. Right?
Is it like a throwback to the old Corrados that were green?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool. So, they're styled pretty similar almost to like a Zodius, but they do have like the EVA foam. What's interesting about this line, it's a really full line, and they're taking stabs at some rods that they haven't done before. So the one I have in my hand is actually the Corrado BFS rod, right? So I was pretty stoked to get this in my hands, especially with the release of the Corrado BFS reel,
yeah.
Right? After playing with it, I don't know. It's 7.2. It's 3/16 to half-ounce lure rating.
That's a huge lure rating.
It's not exactly BFS 3/16, but it's a little heavier than I would think of for BFS. But what it's going to fill is it's long at 7.2. So most BFS rods are really short. They're more designed for shore fishermen. Now there's a 7.2, more of a lake, you know, on the boat kind of length rod for guys who are just going to throw smaller crankbaits and shit, right? Something like a little blitz or something that's maybe not true BFS, but it's too light to throw with conventional gear. So now there will be a rod that can do it, a reel that can do it. So pretty cool. So I think Shimano is definitely on the right track. Some good releases here. All right, so we are in the Jackall booth. We are hanging out with Ariel, product manager for Jackall USA. So we're just going through some of the new baits. So the #1 bait of the last few weeks, you've created a lot of work for me.
Bounty fish.
Bounty
right?
fish. Yeah.
Bounty fish. Yes. Yes. Very, very unique bait, and you know, it's gonna sell really good. It's gonna sell really good.
Yeah. So you guys started teasing this thing, and literally it's like an hour of DMs a day.
Really?
Yeah.
That much? Wow.
So
see, I didn't know it was gonna be that much, but
Yeah.
I heard there was a.
So you owe me something, I think. a beer, an Orion,
A few, yeah.
something. Yeah. So anyways, bounty fish, super dope. So walk me through the bounty fish. Walk me through what anglers are going to experience with it. I know we've all seen the videos. Obviously, you can look and see instantly that there's this mesh stuff.
Yes,
walk
yes.
me through it.
So we'll get to it in detail. I want to start off with, yes, it is a floating bait. It's blended with a high float material in Japan. The key features, obviously, that net joint system right here in the bait. Well, that gives it that amazing walking action. And we have this, what we call here in the front, if you see right here, we call that the knot guard. You want to thread your hook all the way past here. You come out here, that's the exit point. That way your line tie from your hook is completely hidden, so it doesn't pick up any moss or anything on the top water. And with the ribs here, it slows down the bait. In Japan, we call that, pin spot dog walking. So it slows down the bait when it's walking. You basically keep it in the strike zone much longer. So same bait from Japan, but we did come out with 2 colors that are not available in Japan. Right here, he has them right there.
So we have prism shad and
a watermelon.
Right? And then, you know, I've been fairly vocally critical of some decision making on some brands. This is one of those times that really Ariel and Jackall USA needs a huge shout out. They were able to bring these to the US market. You guys are going to be able to buy these less expensive than what Japanese anglers are buying them from. So, dude, it's priced well, it's made in Japan, same thing. So I know you guys are excited. What is realistic availability going to look like on these?
Okay, so out of the 3 baits that are coming out for ICAST, this one will arrive the earliest. It will ship from Japan mid-August, so we're looking at realistically late August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're shipping it via air, so it arrives very quick.
Okay. Which is great because we're going to want these while it's still hot. So you guys will have them in time for end of summer and fall. So stoked for this guy, right? All right. Next up, this is a bait that, again, I've been getting a lot of questions on. This is the Piku Piku, right? So I see 2 line ties. All right, talk to me about these 2 line ties.
Okay, completely ignore the front line tie. The bait works on the top line tie. So it will sit on the water just like this. The back sticks out just a little bit on the water, but with light twitches on slack line, the lure will roll just like that, creating a lot of ripples around it, and that's what entices the bass to bite.
Yeah, so we showed you guys this similar idea, right? Last year with some smaller, more nichier JDM brands that were doing similar things with these smaller kind of, do nothing baits that you just kind of twitch on the surface. I definitely think this one has the best look. So it definitely looks like that wounded minnow on there. You'll see it in the tank when we get them. You can definitely check out videos now on them. But the Piku Piku is going to be a dope one, even for nothing else. Say Piku Piku 6 times fast, Jeff.
6 times fast?
Yeah.
Piku.
Boom.
Piku. I can't do it.
We know. We know, Jeff. Okay. Something that people love to discuss about Jackall is the discontinuation of favorite baits.
Yeah, I get it all. I get it all the time.
Yeah. So just keeping it real, right? One of the baits that was torturous for me personally to see go, because it was one that I loved, was the Bling. And they're back.
They're back.
They're back. So they listen. The Bling 55 is back. They are bringing back 2 old school colors, probably the best 2 selling colors, and you've got 6 new colors in it as well, don't you?
Yes, 6 new colors.
So if you guys were fans of the Bling, you're going to be super stoked. If you weren't fans of the Bling, you'll become fans of the Bling. It's just an amazing, small profile, easy to cast, little square bill that catches them, right? So at the end of the day, you know, all this tech doesn't mean anything if they don't bite it. This was one that always got bit, and that's why everybody was sad to see it go. So exciting to see it back, the Bling 55, the Bounty Fish, Piku Piku, right? Jackall's got some cool stuff coming. So what are we looking at for time frames on Piku Piku and
These will be late August to early September for the other 2. Yeah.
Dope. So that's pretty good. So stay tuned, guys. In the next couple months, you will be able to play with these products. So there you go. There's 2021 iCast from Jackall. All right, guys. G Loomis, new product releases here at iCast. Geoff, I know it's the rod you've been dying for.
Yeah, I love G Loomis.
Right? So we all just kind of assumed that NRX Plus was going to be the iCast release, and we'll get to that here in a second. But they have launched a brand new line of rods. This is the G Loomis GCX. So this line is basically replacing the E6X line, right? So this is going to be the introductory price point and rod line in the Loomis lineup. So it's going to be in that $200 price point. It's a full line of rods. You can see that they're styled very nicely, right? They're much cleaner than that kind of, I mean, I loved the lime green E6X, but you know, I'm kind of a sucker for lime green. It seemed to match my brand really well. But you know, this is going to be a return of just the clean, you know, full cord grip, just that nice kind of classic gray, some red threading. You know, they feel good. They feel solid. They feel like normal, you know, Loomis. Are they as refined as like an NRX, something like that? No, but they're definitely much lighter. They're supposed to be much more responsive than the E6X. It's nice that they put all the favorite models in, so your CBRs and your MBRs and your SJRs, right? They're all in the line. So, you know, all the key models are going to be here. $200 price point. Should be good for them. You know, there's so many good rods at $200, right?
This point,
it's just so hard to be blown away. But you know, the one thing that Loomis has always delivered is, you know, great quality builds, amazing warranty. So they're definitely going to have a home. And like I said, they're cool looking. They're styled well. So I think you guys will like it. And then of course, the launch of the NRX Plus is getting promoted heavily here at iCast. So NRX Plus is basically going to be the new flagship of the Loomis line. Incorporates Spiral X technology, which is basically the cross weaving of the graphite. So it's going to be stronger. It's going to be more sensitive. It's got the hybrid guide train. Thank God they kept the recoil guides. There's some controversy, Geoff.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always been a fan of recoil. A lot of guys hate them, right? It's like a love-hate relationship. You either love them or you don't. But you know, new styling. So it's nice to have that kind of two-tone cork. You get some carbon fiber grip in there. You know, a new custom reel seat that's going to be more comfortable in your hand. So you know, they're just going to continue on the trend of being, you know, the rod that everything's going to be measured against in sensitivity. It's just a much more expanded line now. You've got, you know, blade jig rods and Megabass rods, and you got a bunch more options. So, you know, for you bougie Loomis fans, you know, kind of like what Geoff and I were talking about, Loomis has never really been like a overly styled rod. They're pretty simple. They're pretty straightforward. But once you feel what you feel with an NRX, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, you know, if you want the ultimate sensitivity, this is still going to be the standard. Hopefully, by the time this airs or shortly after, we should have all our pre-orders out, and we should start seeing, you know, models start to arrive on a regular basis. So that's the hope. But at some point, they'll be readily available. You guys are gonna love them. So great addition from Loomis here. Definitely, in my opinion, the best rod at the show. But it's also one of the most expensive. So you're gonna be at a $700 price point. No, you're not at a $700 price point. I don't know where we're at. 500 bucks, 550. Who knows? You know what? It's worth every penny.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you're gonna feel.
Well,
you're gonna feel the shit.
$1,000?
It's NRX. Don't get ridiculous, Geoff. This is no arms rod. So there you go. There's the new Loomis stuff from iCast. Is it NRX Plus radically redefined, like they are saying? I don't know if it's radical, but it's definitely an upgrade. It looks a lot better. It should fish a lot better. So there you go, new from Loomis. All right, guys, so that is a wrap on iCast 2021. What'd you think, Geoff?
It was cool. I definitely feel like I would have appreciated it more when I was younger, just because of all the celebrities and all these pros. I would have asked for photos and autographs and all this jazz, but nowadays I'm just looking for, you know, cool products.
You want the good shit.
I want cool products,
Right.
dude. And
Well, nowadays you're the celebrity, though.
yeah, which is
guy.
crazy.
Yeah. So lots of people stopped to talk to you, which was dope.
If you guys are watching, thanks for stopping by and talking with us.
Absolutely, yes. Great meeting everybody that will end up watching this, except for that one dude. You know who you are. Won't say any names. By the way, there's no Orion here at the convention center, so this is what I'm brought
definitely
to.
blurring that out.
Why would you do that?
That is not Orion. Orion's been watching the videos.
Well, they need some product placement in Orlando. There's one dude in Arizona, Taco Otaku. He could definitely make that happen
That's the
if
guy.
Orion is watching. So, no, dude, you know, look, it's like we said in the beginning. iCast is a cool show because it's the biggest show in the industry.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, we knew everything pretty much that was going to be inside there because we've already ordered it, already seen it, already been selling it. Some of you guys have already been using it. But there's always some surprises, right? It's always nice to put my hands on some of the new stuff that I haven't seen so I actually know exactly what makes it better or not better, or, you know, worth the money or not worth the money, so that we can give you guys real information. You know, dude, it is fun to go to a place where all the names and, you know, the entire industry is here.
Yeah,
right?
The whole thing.
You know, and some of the people are, you know, guys that we've known for a really long time, and it's great to see them again. It's a reminder that there are some really good people and fun people in this industry, so it's fun to hang out. There are definitely some booths that are more, you know, of a circle jerk than anything else, right? You know, kind of like what we talked about earlier with everybody chimping and just their product's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there is a sad note from iCast 2021, there's just too many knockoffs, right? I mean, we've kind of been talking about it. We kind of, you know, coined this like, oh, the year of the knockoff, right? But, you know, these big brands that should know better, just straight up knocking stuff off is, dude, there's got to be some integrity to these product releases. So that was sad to see. But I think our industry knows better. What are your thoughts on knockoffs, dude?
I mean, there was a lot this year. And, like, sometimes there's knockoffs where it's like, yeah, I guess it drew inspiration. It didn't change anything. It made it worse. But these ones this year are just blatant. Completely blatant, dude.
Like the same thing.
You can't deny it. You
Right.
can't argue about it. It's like, dude, you can tell where it came from.
Right.
Because the design is actually the same.
Right.
It's wild. And it's like, it sucks because, you know, we talked about it, that a lot of these big brands, they're going to be in big box stores where there's going to be way more people seeing the knockoffs more than the originals.
Yep.
So, in some cases, the original might sell right next to the knockoffs.
Right.
At a cheaper price. And it's like, dude, seriously? So the whole thing is messed up. Integrity has seemed to have gone out the window, at least in like the recent decade, of some of these bigger companies finding out like, oh, there's a really popular bait from, you know, a Japanese brand, and let's try and just take it.
Yeah, just because a bait isn't sold here in the U.S. doesn't mean you just knock the fucking thing off and sell it yourself.
And be like, oh, well, they don't sell it here, so we decided
right,
just
and
to
then
make our
claim
own.
that, like, oh, well, you know, this is our innovation.
Yeah,
this is, you know, we thought of this.
It's insane,
right?
dude.
What a joke.
Can you imagine one of those knockoffs winning Best of Show of ICAST?
Oh, God. Please,
that would be the
please don't let that
funniest
happen.
thing,
So what
dude.
Jeff's talking about, Best of Show, if you guys aren't familiar with Best Show, we just ended there. We were trying to film it. They were kind of dicks to us. They didn't want us to film it. So, but anyways, if you are here at ICAST, you can present anything for Best of Show, right? So if you came with a new crankbait, for instance, you could put it in. You could be in the new hard bait section, same with reels, rods, whatever. And then the attendees get to go through and vote for what they think is the best of show. Now, there is voting that's involved, obviously, but there's a lot of politics involved in this shit too.
Like everything these days.
Right, so we'll never know who voted for what, right? But, you know, every time I voted and then they announce the winner, I'm always like, there's no fucking way. There's no way all those people just voted for that stupid thing, right? So, you know, God, I pray. You know, I almost want one of those knockoffs to win so they can get more shit over
seriously.
it. You know? So, I don't know. I have a strange... I just don't like knockoffs.
Yeah.
You know, I like innovation to a certain extent. You know, there's only so many different things you can do with certain baits, certain reels, certain rods, right? But at least try to drive it forward. Take something as inspiration, make it better and make it fresh and make it new and make it your own. You know, that's what these big brands should be leading the charge on, not just racing for every penny they can squeeze out of every, you know,
trend
segment and category of the market. You know, like the dark sleeper. There was no dark sleeper market before the dark sleeper.
No.
Right? But, you know, these brands, you know, are seeing all the people, you know, in buying dark sleepers because they're awesome, and they're just trying to get their piece of that little segment now, right? So, you know, we need to restore some integrity, and these brands should know better. So, you know, if you've been talking shit and giving these brands, you know, a bunch of flack over it, good. Keep doing it, because, you know, they need to hear that. They need to hear it's not okay. You can just knock this shit off. But, you know, there was some great innovative things at this show as well, right? So, you know, I think Jackall crushed it with the bounty fish. Everybody's excited to throw the bounty fish.
Yeah, I want to even fish it, dude.
Right? So, you know, there's something that they took, basically a fluke, right? And then they just did a bunch of cool shit to it and made it completely their own, and it looks amazing, right? Nishine with the Abino, super dope. You know, some of the new rods are, you know, I'm excited to use them. So there were definitely some standouts for me, and some things that, you know, were really cool to see. So kudos to a lot of brands that brought some new stuff to the market that we're excited to see. Final thoughts, Jeff?
It's going to be interesting to come back here next year to see what brands come and what brands go, because, you know, the whole time we're like, yo, is such and such brand here? Oh no, they're normally here, but they're not here this year. And you showed me the section that was completely empty, and you're like, oh, normally it goes all the way back there. So it was definitely less packed than I thought, less vendors than I thought.
Definitely less attended, so it was less COVID spreading than I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Right? Which is good, I'll take that. Yeah. But the show was down, I would say, size-wise, probably by at least a third.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Maybe more, but at least a third smaller than normal years, right? So, and a lot of it goes back to what we were talking about. There's just other options now, right? With the classic social media, right? Makes it really easy for a brand to not have to come to this show. Because, you know, this show is just for the industry. So all you're really showcasing to is buyers, is wholesale, retail, right? You're not reaching any consumer. So if you're a small little startup, Are you gonna come to ICAST?
Probably not.
I don't know. You know, it's such a big investment, right?
It is,
to be here, where you know it makes sense to me. I'd rather reach the consumer, right? So, you know, and it's those small little startups that they're going to give us the innovation.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
They're going to give us these things that we just talked about. That we need to see. So, you know, hopefully, you know, I'm sure ICAST doesn't give a fuck about us. They're probably never going to watch this, but if they do, you know, let's make it more affordable for some of these smaller startup brands to come to highlight. I think it would be super dope too to have, like, let's do a 50-50 show. Let's do half the show just for, you know, dealers and wholesale, and let's do half the show for the general public.
Yeah.
I think that would be dope.
Yeah, that'd
you
be
know,
sick.
let everyday normal guys who just love fishing come in and see all the pros you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Meet people that they've, you know, always looked up to. Like when you saw Bill Dance, right? You're like, holy shit, that's Bill Dance. Like, yeah, it's Bill Dance. Like it's crazy, right? Yeah, but like if you're a kid, you'd be tripping.
Oh, dude,
right?
I'd lose my mind.
And imagine, like, it would just solidify so many sales for whatever that booth was.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think it needs that. It needs a refresh, for sure. But, cool show. It was fun going around with you, dude. This is actually the first time I've been to ICAST with somebody.
No way.
Since my wife used to go with me in the early days. So me and John started going, and then me and Kelly went, and then I haven't been with anybody for probably the last, you know, decade or so. Jeez. So it was fun to go through and hang out and, you know, just laugh at some of the ridiculousness. Yeah. So, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully that was some insight that was enjoyable for you to see. Some cool new stuff coming. Yeah. So, you know, it should be exciting to see it. So until next time, this doesn't feel right to cheers without an Orion.
Yeah, looks weird.
Yeah, let's just not do it. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And again, like Geoff said, if you came up and said hello to us, high five us, whatever, dude, thank you guys. It means the world to us. We really appreciate it. So until next time, cheers. I want to go catch a fish in that pond.
Yeah,
that you want to take 30 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes, let's go catch a fish.
ICAST 2020, we out.
We out until we catch a bass.
All right.
What's up, dudes? So, you know, we had a lot of fun at Headwaters, right? But it just kicked our ass. So go figure, right? We bailed from ICAST to come out and fish the pond that's out front. Go figure.
Ben sticks a 3-pounder.
Right? Yeah. So this is where the big ones are in Florida.
This is where all
they're in the ponds. We should have just fished the ponds the whole time. So fortunately I brought some travel rods, and so when ICAST got lame, we came out fishing. So, dude, what you say, Geoff?
Oh yeah.
You don't need a bass boat.
That was gnarly.
Come on, dude. Yeah, we got travel rods and swim jigs.
So nasty,
right?
dude.
We're in. Let's do it again, dude.